Welcome to our brand new show, The Curious Developer. I'm Jesper Peterson from KDAB, and sometimes I lay awake at night and wondering what is the current state of Qt AI assisted development, or possibly just AI assistant development, because this show is much more than just Qt. And to answer these questions, and I have brought on the show with me Jan Marker, but before he gets a chance to introduce himself, I'm wondering a lot of things at night. Is Jan really a real person, or is AI so much ahead of me? To answer that and many other things, as I said, Jan Marker, welcome to the show.
Hello Jesper, the Curious Developer. I can reassure you I am not yet an AI. Whether you believe me or not, you can judge at the end of your video series.
Okay, jokes aside, Jan, I have been using GitHub Copilot within my Qt Creator for the longest time. I even put out a video on how to set it up in the very early days of GitHub Copilot integration into Qt Creator in the Qt Widgets and More video series. But recently, well, somewhat recently at least, there was an announcement from the Qt company about something they called Qt AI Assistant. And well, I know Qt Assistant, that's this good old thing that's help pages in like we've had for 20 years. Now Qt AI Assistant, is that just help pages? That I would like to get an idea of with you. Can you start out telling me possibly a bit about why am I talking to you of all people?
Yeah, sure. So when AI, or LLMs as the more specific term, came to be a popular known thing and popular use thing, we at KDAB decided that this is something we of course also need to look at. And I was asked by the people that make decisions here to look into this and organize some experiments and organize some work around it. One reason why I was picked for this is that as part of my computer science master's degree, I did spend 2 years researching in the field of computational neuroscience, which is the research topic of how can we try to build computer programs and models and artificial neural networks that reproduce and help with findings in the neuroscience subject.
Yeah, I remember those nights in Berlin, sitting in a bar, discussing that stuff with you, calling your brother for some reason all the time. But that's totally besides the point here. So tell me a bit, Qt or AI Assistant inside of Qt Creator, what is the current state there?
Right, so you did mention Copilot in Qt Creator before. And so many people that listen to this video probably know Copilot from Visual Studio Code. And if they also had watched your previous video on Copilot, they see that the Copilot integration in Qt Creator is more like an autocomplete, while in Visual Studio Code, you, for example, get a chat also, and also autocompletion, but also chat and more tools. And the Qt AI Assistant that Qt Company has created is an extension or a plugin for Qt Creator that also aims to give you more than just code completion. It offers you code completion, but it also offers you a chat in various forms, and it offers you more modes of code generation that is more than just autocomplete.
Excellent. Maybe we could start out with you showing us how to get going with all of this, because I'm sure that a lot of people watching this, if they haven't already done so, they will soon at least be very curious, just like I am, to see how all this works and try it with their own code bases.
Okay, so you see that I brought you an application. You might be familiar with it actually, because this is from your QML introduction video series. And I think this is where this all started, so back to the roots. Just maybe assuming that all of or most of our audience have an idea of QML and C++, I just want to give you a quick idea of what this is. This is an example where we are showing how to use item models together with QML list view in order to create a small interface. And just that you've seen this very briefly, this is what the application looks like when it's broken. Yeah, okay, let's see. Okay, so So as I've been saying, the AI Assistant plugin, I have set this up, and how we exactly set it up I will show later, but the plugin offers you code completion. So if I, for example, press enter here, I get a new line, and this should have shown something in terms of code completion. So I'm confused as to why that doesn't work. Another feature that we have is I can highlight some text, for example, this text element here or some code. And then there's this little button here. And this is different from what you are used to in Copilot. If I click on this, I get a typing interface where as you can see, there is a few actions available. For example, if I press slash, I can see that this action here, explain the selected code. So I select this and I wait for a moment. And now I get a suggestion here, like it reproduces the text, and then it also produces an explanation of what does this code do. There is an explanation of the text element, of the text property. Here we have an explanation of anchors. So this is something that you, for example, might be used to from a ChatGPT interface or some other AI or LLM chat, where you paste in some code, say, hey, please explain this, and then you just get an explanation that makes more or less sense. So the AI Assistant plugin supports all the languages. I've shown this here now for C++, but it's also, for QML, but it also works for C++. So here, for example, is the struct that backs the model. So if I also ask it to explain this part of the code, it will work in pretty much the same fashion that this has worked previously.
That is one very complex piece of code that you asked it to explain. Struct with 3 members.
Well, I thought I get us started more easily. We could, if you're interested, we could see how, for example, would it explain these functions or give an idea of how this model, for example, could work. So let's see. So I'm selecting this code here, and then I press the button. Also, let's see here. As you notice, there have been apparently instructions in this plugin that it should reproduce the code that it's explaining, because it keeps doing that all the time. I personally don't find that super helpful because I have the code right up there. Okay, let's see. Here the explanation is that we are inheriting from QAbstract item list model. QAbstract list model. This isn't too fancy because it's written right there. But maybe the information that this is part of the Qt model view framework might be useful to people that are just getting into Qt. Right, then the enum is explained. The constructor, so this is going into quite some detail. But what I'm lacking here a bit is that there seems to be very little understanding of what Qt is actually doing with this. So why do I need roles? So the row count function might be kind of obvious, but I don't really see explanation. This is the scrolling interface here. Here is, for example, an explanation on data for an index and a row. So it might be interesting to know what is actually an index, because people that have watched your series know that QAbstract item model indices are not the most trivial thing in the world. Yeah. Okay. So maybe this is something we would actually see whether we can get an additional answer out of here. So if I have explain, I would type help me to understand then how the index Q model index works here. See. You see that there is a nice streaming interface here, so you can already start reading the text while it's still producing text. Okay, now here we get an information about different overrides of the, different functions that are available. So here's row count. Let me see how useful that answer is.
Yeah, that's the beauty of presenting something about AI, that it would give you a new answer all the time. It's like, yeah, as you can see here, oh, wait.
Right, so this is, for example, I find this sentence is a useful sentence, even though I'm not sure if you're coming new into this, you will immediately make sense of it. Right here, we see that the indices are important in different kinds of models, and they have different roles in list models versus tree models, for example. Whether this immediately makes sense if you're just getting into it, that would be another question. Yeah, but so maybe to focus more on the AI topic here, the Qt AI Assistant plugin allows you to chat with your code base, which is something that people, as I was saying, that are used to Visual Studio Code and Copilot, they are more used to this. So this is a feature that is now available basically in Qt Creator via this plugin that Qt Company provides. There is more features here. I think this particular example won't be too great to show this off very well, but one of the features that is tailored to Qt, and Qt company has spent some time to make this work well, is that the generation of Qt test cases. So here, for example, I selected the QML code and I can ask it to generate a test case for this, because this is something that people often look for in AI use cases. So here we see it's importing the Qt QML module, and it's instantiating this code here, and then it's trying to generate some tests. So I don't want to go through the details of how well these tests are going to work. I do want to point out, though, that it's not really reusing the component, but it's just copy and pasting the code into the test. So there will definitely be work necessary here, but you might find this to be a useful tool in your development.
Yeah, I guess writing unit tests often is a lot of boilerplate, a lot of I need to go through all the different scenarios. And of course, you and I will have a chat in one of the later episodes in this series about exactly that problematic or that problem with, will it generate you unit tests for all of it, and how could the future look like in a setup where there's actually tools that will help you get better code coverage through unit tests but I'm jumping ahead here. So that's pretty cool. So we are starting out in this series here with a Qt background, and obviously throughout the episodes coming, we'll go more diverse and we'll look at different tools for this and techniques and whatnot. But I'm curious. You started right out with QML, and people that knows me already knows that, hey, I'm famous from QML, but I also have admitted, at least on the Qt Widgets channel, that I haven't done any QML for years now. Is this really mostly about QML, or will Qt AI Assistant work for older people like me that's stuck with Qt Widgets?
You're saying older people, but I have also been doing very little QML work in the recent months. So,
thank you very much. You're too kind.
So the expectation is that Qt AI Assistant is going to work with all languages that you're working with in Qt Creator. And I will use your question to show you a little bit more background, just like a tiny little bit. So if I go to the preferences and I look at the AI Assistant settings, so this is just the easy settings to get us started, you see that the AI Assistant plugin distinguishes between different use cases. One of them is, or one group of use cases is the QML use case, and the other one is other languages. And other languages here is everything that, as you can see, so GPT-4o model supports. And this would be C++, Python, Bash, whatever else. Well, you've been writing a lot of MX scripts in your past days, so I assume it knows some of that too. Right.
You gotta love this. QML is so unique and different from anything else that it needs a special use case. And then C++ and Bash and SQL, they can all go in other languages.
Well, that does have a reason, but I think we will also dive into why QML is separated out here in a separate episode, right? But you also notice that we're covering all of these different use cases. Before I go there, I'd explain that we have the QML and other languages separation, but we also have the code completion versus prompt separation. So code completion is when I type and it just suggests me the next piece of code. And prompts is everything that I was just showing in terms of chats. And you notice that we do have GPT-4o configured for basically all of these situations here, except for code completion in QML. And this is, for that we use the Colama 30B QML model. And that's a special thing because this is where the work that Qt company did also branches off into a separate subject, that is, how can we get LLMs to work very well with kind of niche-ish languages like QML.
Yeah.
Okay, so this to answer your question, does it support other languages? And the answer is definitely yes.
Okay, cool. So before we end in this episode here, let's go back to line 20 there, exactly where you have a red marker in you wanted it, or you're hoping for it to offer you some completion. So we started out with GitHub Copilot, and I've been using GitHub Copilot for a very long time and enjoy very much its completions ability inside of Qt Creator. So you're telling me that, yes, Qt AI Assistant will allow me completions. Maybe you can start typing something there so we can actually see that something is working.
Okay, let me do that in C++ first. I assume that it's going to work better in C++ right now. Yeah, see, so here it started a completion to say there is a last row, and then it's also suggesting to use the QEnum flag to mark this enum here for meta object information. Okay, so in QML, let's see where
I love the fact, and that's where I feel less threatened about AI. I love the fact that it offers me the closing parenthesis or closing brace semicolon, and it's right after, and it's gonna ruin all my code. And I have so many times been sitting there with completion that did exactly that and didn't notice, and all of a sudden my code looks weird. But at least thank you very much for automatic indentation and formatting of my code these days.
That happens to me a lot too when I do C++ with GitHub Copilot assisted programming. A lot of unnecessary parentheses, and then my whole code formatting goes haywire. It's amazing.
Right.
Yeah. So I do want to try the QML code completion. So let's say if I'm not sure why this doesn't work out right now, but it's supposed to work. There we go.
No.
Now we have an image element, and so I don't think the image source exists, but we would want to take this from the model. So so we could extend this example here now into something that hopefully works. But maybe this is also something that I could point out here now. If the model or if the AI assistant plugin would be looking around different files and not only my current file, it might have noticed that it should integrate this with the model, and it might have been able to look up which role name to use here in order to make the hookup with the model. So I think there is some context missing here in the input to the LLM in order to actually generate project appropriate code.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Could you just, I am the curious developer after all, so could you try and just delete image.jpg there and wait and see if it comes up with something more fancy?
Yeah, let's see.
There is a shortcut for forcing it to do its work right away, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a command tick mark, which I have now pressed, and now we might be able to complete this with Sky 1. I rest assured there is no sky image available here. We are talking about countries and their flags, so something like Denmark or Sweden would have been more appropriate here. Yeah, so it looks like it's definitely lacking some context, and it's probably only completing the code based on the previous and later lines here, instead of looking at different files in the project.
Okay, I think that will be enough for this episode here. Got an idea of what is inside there. Maybe we should just, for those people that are interested and want to know what is in the future, we could invite in a very special guest to tell us a bit about what is in the upcoming episodes here. Let me introduce you myself from the future. I have a time machine, and this is the weird kind of things that I would like to do with my time machine. That's just invite myself in to tell what is in all the upcoming episodes. So over to you, Jesper. Hi, a younger version of me. Yes, you are right. I now know exactly what we talked about, because in my timeline, it is the past. You will be talking to Jan quite a bit. Actually, that's going to be 9 episodes in total in this series here. 7 of those, well, we're almost done with the first one, but 6 more chats with Jan. Then 1 chat with your boss, Kalle Delheimer, who will give his perspective from a user of all of this. And the final one, which is interesting, is with a lawyer who will give us the perspective on what are your stance on this. Let me just pick a few things from what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what are the different models, and is bigger always better? We'll talk about how you set up your own models. Jan will give me a good lecture on statistics, which is definitely needed. We'll see AI in action in Visual Studio Code. And I can promise you that you'll see some pretty nifty, cool thing there. And finally, we'll also talk about QOD, so Q Code Assistant, and Cursor, and some of the other AI availables or AI powered tools out there. So much to look forward. Oh man, I must admit that haircut looks awesome on you. So thank you very much for that overview. And thank you very much for this episode, Jan. As Jesper said, in the next episode, we'll dive into how do you actually get Qt Creator set up with Qt AI Assistant.
Yeah, thank you for having me. See you next time.